Just one sandwich. I gave them one and I have one.
One split second of road rage. One bullet. A complete, irreversible reversal of a man's soul. Netflix's South African noir thriller 180 is much more than a standard vigilante story. Directed by Alex Yazbek and starring Prince Gripboom, it's a devastating examination of toxic male ego, grief, and the failure of justice. In this video, we break down the hidden details, layered symbolism, and deep thematic ironies you may have missed in 180. 1. The title Symbolism, the 180-degree flip. The title 180 works on three distinct, symbolic levels. A full character U-turn. At the start, Zach is a reformed man and a peaceful restaurant owner trying to rebuild his life. By the end, he undergoes a complete 180-degree moral collapse, becoming the violent predator he swore to protect his family from. The symmetrical cycle of violence, every violent action Zach takes to avenge his son Manla, mirrors the exact trauma forced upon him. The script deliberately flips his role, from helpless victim to unhinged tormentor. A literal U-turn, the entire tragedy is set in motion by a single physical traffic interruption. One split-second decision in a Johannesburg traffic jam permanently alters the fate of multiple lives. 2. Hidden detail, the subtext of the two sandwiches. Early in the film, Zach and Manla discuss schoolyard bullies. The scene, Manla explains that to keep the peace, he brings two sandwiches to cricket practice, one for the bully and one for himself. The hidden meaning, Manla is practicing de-escalation, compromise, and empathy. Zach, driven by pride, rejects that approach. He tells his son to stand up for himself. The tragic irony, later when Zach faces adult bullies on the road, his inability to swallow his pride and de-escalate directly fuels the argument with Laromo. Zach's refusal to give up the sandwich leads straight to Manla being shot. 3. The customer service call scene. One of the most heavily debated scenes involves Zach calling a medical aid customer service representative. The microcosm. On the surface, it feels like a strange detour in a fast-paced thriller. But it functions as a microcosm of Zach's wider struggle. The symbolism, the scene highlights the cold, exhausting bureaucracy of modern South African life. Zach is a common man locked in a losing battle against massive, indifferent systems, whether that's an insurance company or an aggressively corrupt police force. 4. The tragic irony of male ego. At its core, 180 explores how the male ego destroys families under the guise of protecting them. The defenseless protector, Zach spirals out of control because he can't cope with his own powerlessness. His hot-headed vigilante path doesn't deliver justice. Instead, his rage and incompetence tear apart what's left of his family, ultimately contributing to his brother's death. The ending realization. The final frames reveal the haunting truth of Zach's actions. He didn't save anyone, he weaponized his grief into ego, leaving his wife Portia to endure the ultimate consequences of his choices. 5. The dual language subtext. The film blends English and Afrikaans naturally throughout its runtime. The realism. This reflects the authentic linguistic tapestry of everyday life in Johannesburg. The symbolism. Switching languages often signals who holds power in a scene. Characters change dialects depending on whether they're trying to conceal information, assert authority, or connect through shared humanity. The ending centers on Zach's final realization. His pursuit of revenge has destroyed his humanity and his family. He doesn't find peace. Instead, his actions create a devastating domino effect that forces him to walk away from violence. The junkyard showdown and the truth. After surviving an attempt by the crime boss Ezekiel to crush him to death in a junk car, Zach confronts Laromo, the aggressive thug. Zach kills Laromo, but in his dying breaths Laromo reveals a heartbreaking truth. He didn't kill Zach's son, Manla. The actual shooter was the quiet driver, Karwas. Zach initially refuses to believe him, but he quickly understands that a dying man bleeding out has no reason to lie. He tracks Karwas to his home and overpowers him, preparing to kill him and finally end his quest. However, the climax shifts when Carwiz's young son steps into the room. Overwhelmed by grief and trauma, Zack briefly hallucinates the boy as his own deceased son, Manla, and moves to hug him. Carwiz's son points a gun at Zack to protect his father. In that moment, Zack recognizes the toxic reflection of his own ego and anger. He realizes that killing Carwiz would simply create another fatherless child and continue the endless cycle of blood and vengeance. Zack drops his weapon, walks away without executing Carwiz, and even calls for medical help to treat Carwiz's injuries before leaving. Zack's ultimate fate, total loss. The film ends with Zack walking completely alone beneath a pouring rainstorm, physically and emotionally shattered. His search for vengeance didn't save his son. It tore his life apart, leading to his brother Zuko being shot and to his alienation from his wife, Portia. He leaves one final recorded voice message for Portia, acknowledging his profound failures. He admits that his choices pushed him too far into the dark and accepts that his mistakes are unforgivable. The open ending shows Zack wandering into the night, not as a victorious action hero, but as a broken man who has lost absolutely everything. What did you think of Zack's complete transformation in 180? Do you think his path of vengeance was justified, or did his ego completely blind him? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into international cinema.